to make $5,000 plus per month from your van, from the road, where you can actually live a life of adventure and go and explore without having to worry about cash flow and income. And you really can set your own terms. So let's get right into it because I'm super excited to share this 5-step process with you. You are absolutely in the right place if you have a dream of RVing or living the van life, but you're struggling with how to make money from the road. Or if you're curious about starting a business that lets you travel, but you're kind of worried about being tethered to your computer, or your laptop, or your phone and not really being able to take a break. Or if you want to live a life like truly, truly live your life, not in retirement, but now, while also making money that's going to support your adventurous lifestyle. During this masterclass, I'm going to share with you 3 of the biggest mistakes that could really stop you from being able to earn while you explore. And I kind of laughed when I said that because these are the mistakes that I made. So you're really learning from me. Don't make the same mistakes that I did. You're also going to learn the 5 exact steps that you need to create your life of freedom from the road and 5 different business models that are going to let you do that. So I am going to show you exactly the different types of business models that you can start from the road that are van life friendly, that are meant for people who are on the road and traveling. And some of them might actually surprise you. This isn't like your typical list that you get. There's actually some that you might be really shocked that you can really do from the road. Okay. So first, we're going to start off with kind of a cheesy example. This is my example of Dan, who's on the left, and Genevieve, who's on the right. Dan is option A. So Dan is overwhelmed. You can see he's sitting in his van, but not really able to go outside and explore because he feels like he's trapped inside looking at the world that he wanted to explore. He had set out to explore. He had decided to live the van life so that he could be outside, but now he's on somebody else's hours. And so he has to be stuck at this desk. And then there's Genevieve. She is the business owner or the roadpreneur, as I call it. And she is able to work when she wants to work. She should probably get the Nomads Lab desk because she's looking a little bit uncomfortable with a laptop in her lap. But regardless, she's happy and she's able to live the life of purpose. I think that's kind of an overused word, but she feels really good about the work that she's doing. That's a better way to describe it. And she's able to travel as often as she wants. She can go van lifing all summer long. She could be full time. And she's got a really clear plan for how she's going to grow that income and get that cash flow coming in. So, cheesy stock photos aside, I think you guys get the idea that Dan, that was we'll call him, I don't know his real name, but he's unable to really fully embrace the van life, right? And Genevieve, though, on the other hand, she's living the dream. She's super happy. She's not overwhelmed. And she's really having this beautiful balance between work and life. Okay. So it's clear that you'd probably want to be Genevieve in that scenario, but really it's not as easy as just being Genevieve in that scenario. You have to get started. And so the number one way that I have started making money from the road was actually going out there and putting myself out there. I went out there consistently, prolifically, and of course with a little bit of dirt under my fingernails because that's the way we do it when we love the outdoors. But it wasn't that consistency or the dirt that really made the biggest impact. For me, it was taking action. I really showed up and I did so in a way that embraced all aspects of my life, not just the business that I wanted to build or not just the van lifing experience or the RV experience that I wanted to have. I went out there and I did both at the same time. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Kimberly Crossland. It's great to meet you. I'm so thrilled to be part of this Van Life Summit. I'm also a mom of 2 wild boys. I'm a messy middle RVer. I do have an RV, not a van, but I have the bumper pole RV and we go out as much as we can. That's what I call the messy middle. We're not weekend warriors. We are not full-timers. We're just in the middle where we can go out for weeks, months at a time, but we're not full-time on the road. We have a home base to come back to. I'm also charcuterie board obsessed. Also just recently tried butter boards. They're delicious too. I'm a mountain bike amateur, and that just means that I have so much fun on the trails, but I'm probably not going to be enlisting in any races anytime soon because I'm not great, but I sure love it. Anytime I can put my tires on dirt, I'm happy. And I'm a serial roadpreneur. Roadpreneur, of course, is a made-up term for someone who builds businesses from the road. This is me a couple years ago, actually about exactly 1 year ago. And this was when I was hanging out off grid. This is my RV. And I was actually launching during this time. Did not really have any cell phone service. I did, but I had to climb up to the top of the hill and kind of awkwardly hold up my phone just to check in, which didn't really do very much because didn't really want to. And I didn't have to, but I was still able to see that consistent growth even when I was off grid, even when I was right here with my little Aussie doodle. I've also shared my story in a lot of different places, including this summit, which I'm so grateful to be a part of. I've spoken at the RV Life Entrepreneur Roundtable. I've been in Rootless Living, Forbes, RV Dreaming TV, Boss Project, RV Miles, Stressless Camping, all the different shows. And of course, I use my passion for adventure and entrepreneurship in the outdoors to create a business that's really helped me help others experience more life outside. And I'm so grateful to be here because that's exactly what I'm going to be teaching you how to do, my 5-step process. So get a pen and paper, get some notes. We're going to go through it. But before we do, as you go grab those pens and papers and notes, let's take a look back at 2012. This is me at 2012. I was happy, but I was also kind of unsure of what to do next. I was sitting at my kitchen table after leaving a cushy job where I just felt like I was unable to be paid on time every time because my boss was keeping the money for himself instead of paying me. And that was because, as he said, I was married. And so I had someone to support me. And so he needed the paycheck. I didn't buy into that. I thought it was kind of bogus. Also think it's kind of illegal, but I didn't waste my time pursuing that. And I grabbed my last paycheck and I went and I sat at my kitchen table and I thought, okay, what's next? What happens now? I'm out of a job that I just kind of up and quit. What do I do now? And so this is me. I was unsure of what to do next. Maybe that's how you're feeling right now. I ended up jumping into something headfirst with a lot of heart. I was super excited about it, but I did not have a lot of direction. I was feeling the weight of all the shoulds. And I was saying yes to everything because every opportunity that came my way, it seemed like it was great and I got cash flow for it. Didn't have to go get the job. I was able to build my own hours, build my own business, build my own life, go work out in the middle of the day if I wanted to do that. And it felt great, but I was also getting a lot of overwhelm with not knowing how much to charge. Am I marketing the right way? Why is it feast or famine feeling? So I was trying and failing and learning, and I felt frustrated, but I was also so excited all at once. This is the entrepreneur roller coaster that I think a lot of us go through. It can be exhausting, but it doesn't have to be that way. Fast forward, here I am in 2020, right before the pandemic hit. I mean, I'm talking mid-January 2020. Didn't really know. I mean, I knew about things that were going on, but I had no idea what was about to happen. So in January 2020, I left a really cushy contract. I had gotten picked up by a really big consultancy and had a really great deal with them. They were awesome, good people. They let me have my own hours. So I was living the remote work life, right? The dream remote work life. I could have my own hours. I was doing something that I loved, but something felt off. I didn't feel like I had a big enough voice in the direction. I wanted the creative element to it. I didn't feel like I could go take vacation and totally go off grid. Even though they were so kind and generous and said I could, I still felt guilt. And I felt dread going back because I had already left my team behind and I felt, all of that kept bubbling up. And so I had really tried to keep the same pace as I had been doing before with my entrepreneurial life, but it just was different. It was just different when I had somebody to check into and people relying on me in a different way than by contract or, students, things like that. So I knew I wanted to help others. I still knew I wanted to show up in service of other people. I just didn't know what to do at that moment. So I left that cushy contract, realized I was going about it the wrong way. And there I was, super excited, not knowing that the pandemic was about to hit and spiral everything. I knew I needed a business and not to keep trading time for money. This is so important because so often this is the big trap that people get in. People, meaning van lifers who want to go and travel, start their own business, but the way that they do it is they trade their time for money, which leaves them inside their RV staring out that window like poor old Dan that we saw earlier, looking at the beach and feeling like they can't actually go and explore. And that is such a bummer. And I don't want that for you. I do not want that for you. So by November 2021, I had taken everything that I knew about growing a business, everything I knew after consulting and working with and copywriting for some of the biggest companies in the world who I can't tell you their names because I'm still bound by the NDA that they had me sign. Regardless, I left that and I took everything I knew and I created my own business. I actually created two businesses because I'm crazy like that. Remember, serial roadpreneur over here. And by November 2021, I had 4 revenue sources and I did not have that stress. This picture right behind was actually us up in Big Lake, Arizona at that time. And it was a beautiful trip. And there was, again, no cell phone service. There was a group of people that would stand at the entrance to the campground holding up their cell phones, trying to get cell service. And I never once joined them because I didn't feel like I needed to. I did not feel like I needed to. I had things under control and I designed my life and my business. And that's because I had committed to that life and that business model filled with more travel and more outdoor adventures. And I put up my boundaries and I made it very clear that that was my mission, that's my vision. And people really respond to that. So here I am. This is how my 2022 looked. These are a few pictures from 2022. My family and I went over to Jellystone to explore, which is a very interesting type of campground. It's beautiful. It was fun. But we have 2 kids who also love the water slides a bunch in the park. It's very different. And then there's me when we're totally off grid, no hookups, no cell phone service, no nothing. We're just there having a good time, jumping for joy in the sunsets, carving pumpkins at the campsite. That's one of our traditions. I just love it, all of it. So, because now my business is easy to manage, I'm always in growth mode, even when I'm off grid. I don't feel that overwhelm and that suffocating feeling when we're RVing, like I have to be checking in. And it's such a gift. It's such a gift. And that's why when they invited me to speak here at Project Van Life Summit, I wanted to be part of it because I want that for so many others. We are living at an inflection point where we are allowed to have that. We can absolutely build a business that lets us have that. And so I want that for you. And that's what we're going to talk about here. Before I get into the how, let me just give you a little tidbit into the simple mistakes that everybody, including myself, makes that will actually keep you stuck. And some of these might surprise you. The first is this: never making an offer. I have seen this time and time again where people say they want to start a business, but then as soon as it comes time to ask for money or that value exchange, I think sales are just a value exchange, they freeze and they don't make an offer. They don't put themselves out there. They get wrapped in this perfectionism and it's very difficult. Yes, putting yourself out there is scary. I want to acknowledge that. I understand that. I still get butterflies when I put offers out there for new things or if it's a new audience and I'm feeling a little bit nervous. It's normal to get those butterflies. It means that you care, actually. But without making an offer, you're going to make it impossible for people to work with you. If they don't know how to buy from you or they're not able to buy from you, they're not going to buy from you. It's just that easy. And yet it's also that difficult because you have to put that offer out there. Okay, mistake number 2, looking sideways. So what do I mean by this? Well, a lot of times we will come up with a business idea and say, oh, this is awesome. Oh, but I saw somebody else did this already. And then you don't move forward. Or you come up with an idea and you start to move forward and then you see someone else doing it a little bit differently than you and you think, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. This is where imposter syndrome comes up. I try not to label it imposter syndrome, but that's what it is. And that's a common phrase that a lot of people know and love to use. So now what we can use it. They look sideways. They have that imposter syndrome bubble up and it stops them. But here's the reality. Nobody's business is perfect, not even close. And when you keep looking sideways, wondering why you're not at a certain point or not, and you're trying to add in everything else that they have already added in, you'll drown You're going to get into that comparison trap. You're going to start to try and do all the things all at once. It took them 5 years to build. You're going to try and do it in 5 months, and you're just going to get burnt out and overwhelmed and feel like you're doing something wrong when you're not. You're absolutely not. It's just that we're falling into this comparison trap. And gosh, is it easy to do? It's really easy to do. Okay, third mistake is sprinting and then stopping. And this one's kind of fueled by the mistake right before it, right? Because you get into that, I've got to do it all if I'm going to keep up. And I want everyone to think that I'm really, really good. And you are really, really good. But because you're in that comparison game, you don't always see it the way that the other people see it, that the market sees it and what they want from you. And so you sprint and you sprint and you sprint. And then I stutter on my words there. You sprint and you sprint and you sprint. That's hard to say. And then you stop because you're like, I can't anymore. I'm done. I'm tired. People are not coming. And usually it's right at the end when you're just about to cross the finish line, but you can't see the finish line because it's right around the corner. And that's when you stop. Listen, rejection is coming. It's part of owning a business, and it's just the beginning. There's so many lessons that come along with being rejected, by hearing the word no, by having people object to the sales. The goal here is not to say, oh, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. Instead, it's to dig deeper into why and then pinpoint what you need to calibrate and what needs to change or adjust. Because when you do that, then you're able to start to meet people where they're at and answer those objections and build something that is so crazy valuable that it's hard to say no to. It ends up becoming a no-brainer. So that rejection is just the beginning to building that no-brainer. Don't let it stop you. Okay, so are you ready to start making money that'll set you free from those restless nights or that location commitment? And are you ready to get out of the van, get out of the RV when you're on trips and explore instead of being stuck behind your laptop, just working away from adventure inside your van where you only have that one desk? You don't have the Nomad Lab that you can take out and you can move around and you can adjust your settings. You don't have that. And so then you're stuck inside. Or are you ready to stop second guessing yourself and really start becoming more magnetic, having that kind of confidence that's hard to ignore? This is for you. Finally, it's time to get off that hamster wheel. It's time to get off that hamster wheel of just making content and thinking that that's going to build a business. It's not. Yes, content creators can make money, but most of the content creators that are very successful have multiple revenue streams, and those revenue streams help them avoid falling into the trap of that tedious work or living in that fear that a channel is going to take down your videos or your reels and suddenly you're left without all this audience that you had just grown. Having the multiple revenue streams and showing up in multiple places actually is easier. So let's get into it. Here is finally the step-by-step process for making money from the road, and good money, like over $5,000 a month money. Step number 1, we're going to calibrate. We're going to validate. So here's what that means. First, you're going to look for the struggle in the wild. When you're out there looking around, think about, how can I solve a problem? How can I see someone is having a hard time with something? How can I help them over the hump? And how can I start a business that will help them over the hump? You think about someone who, for example, me, when I very first started, I saw and I heard a lot of people say, I hate writing. I stare at this blank screen. The cursor is just flashing at me and I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to say and I freeze and I don't put anything out there and then I don't sell anything. And it's this big spiral. So I said, well, I love writing. Like when I see that cursor flashing on the screen, I get excited and I'm thinking about the possibilities and just do this huge brain dump. And they just said, can you just do it for me? I don't want to do it. I was looking for the struggle in the wild. The same thing when I started my sister company, Cruising and Campfires. I saw a lot of families hesitate to go camping or complain about camping, specifically parents with children complain about camping because there's so much work. And then they wanted a vacation from their vacation. They were exhausted. So I started a company that answers that. Look for the struggles in the wild, and you're going to come up with these ideas of what you can start a business around. More specifically, though, as you come up with all these ideas, look for ways you can save people either time or money. Both of those are the two biggest objections to any sale. So everything from your groceries, you think about fast food meals versus taking a lot of time to home cook meals, but some are more expensive than others, and you see that. You see that with RVs and with vans. What's what is going to be the most fuel efficient to save you money? What is going to be the easiest to set up to save you time at the campground? Looking for ways to save time and money is a really great way to validate that offer that you have in your mind. So as you're looking for the struggles in the wild, answer that. Can it save them my audience, my people that I want to serve? Can it save them time or money? Then pick the path of least resistance. So what I mean by that is don't just say, I'm going to choose the hardest thing that I can do. Go and choose the one that's going to take the least amount of time, the least amount of resources, and will have the highest impact. So find that balance. The least amount of time for you to develop and create and get out there, and the least amount of resources, monetary resources, energy resources, people you need to hire, products, materials you need to get. What's going to take the least amount of time and resources? And then you validate it by pre-selling it. You get it out there and you pre-sell your offer and say, hey, I'm making something, I'm working on this, who wants it? Give them a discount to get in the door early, give them that incentive, honor that experience of I'm one of the first in the door, and they're going to jump at it. And then when you have them put money behind that yes, when they're raising their hand saying yes, and that you say, okay, this is how much it is. It's my beta price. It's my least expensive price that it's ever going to be because I'm just getting it off the ground. When they pay that money, now you've really validated that offer. People want it. They have now put money behind it. They want it. And by the way, now you're making money to build the thing that you want to build. Calibrate and validate. That's how we do it. So here's a great example of how you can do this. I brought up myself with the copywriting, but you can just teach what you know. You know a lot more than you think you do. And this can be anything from a small product, a small-ish product, for example, $497 product. To make $5,000 a month, you just need to sell 10 of them a month. What can you teach somebody for $497? Maybe it's how to get started living the van life. Maybe it's something specific to van life. What can you teach them for $497? Or if you sell a product for $997, you sell 5 in a month, you're right there at $5,000. That's not that many. It's all basically 1 to 2 per week. That's pretty good. Or if you sell 4 at $1497, now you're talking almost $6,000 a month. I mean, this is revenue or income, or salary replacing income, because that will add up really quickly. Teach what you know, and you can set it up and have it go on their schedule. So you don't even have to be there delivering it live, because if you're off grid, that's kind of hard to do. Imagine coming back to your van and having a sale for $1497. Not bad, let me tell you. Okay. Step number 2 is to claim your space. Now, there's a few different ways you can do this, and I'm a huge advocate of these specific ways because they're going to allow you to own your digital real estate. So first, launch your website. There's so many different ways you can launch your website. I'm a huge fan of Showit. It's an easy website builder. There's lots of other website builders you can use. Lead Pages is great for just a placeholder website for a little bit, but get your domain and launch that website. And then claim all of your social media handles. You don't have to post on all of your social media handles, but claiming that space does a few things. First of all, it prevents anybody else from taking your name over on social media. And second of all, it also showcases to yourself, I'm doing this. I'm taking this action, I'm doing this. And claim it and launch it and get it out there, warts and all. That just means it doesn't matter if it has a few blemishes on it. It's okay. You just need to get it out there. Remember, we're not falling into the comparison trap, right? We're not. We're not going to do it. That's one of the biggest mistakes. Getting your website and your social media out there, warts and all, is a great way to get started mentally and with a digital space. Then start gathering those email addresses, because just as quickly as you get your website out there, you want to start attracting that audience and getting them to stick with you. Your name is new. People need to hear things at least 7 times before they remember you. So Getting their email address lets you consistently show up in their inbox. This way, you're not also relying on the social media algorithms to showcase all of your posts because they won't. That's not how the algorithm works. But instead, you're able to get your message out there and you're able to start to attract that audience, get them to know you, to like you, and to trust you. And then pay attention to your analytics. Analytics are so important and they're so forgotten. So get Google Analytics and splash that code on your website. You want to see where people are coming from, how they're finding you, so you can know exactly where you can grow, where you can lean away from, what your audience wants. You cannot grow what you cannot measure. So here's another way that you can make money from the road, and very good money from the road. You can be a freelancer. You can do DIY services. So for example, I was a copywriter in the beginning. People said, will you just write the copy for me? And I said, yes. If I had 10 contracts a month, 10 different websites, I would charge more than that for a website, actually. If I had like 10 blog posts a month, I'd be making $5,000 a month. You write a couple of blog posts for a client, well, now you're talking some really good money. $1,000 a contract, get 5 of those a month. Like, let's just say you do editing and ongoing content creation. Now you're at $5,000, just 5 of them. You know your clients, you can make it go really, really quickly. You work on your own schedule. You meet those deliverables when it makes sense for you. It goes really fast. Same with $5,000 a month. If you were to build one website a month for $5,000, there you go. You're making $5,000 a month. And it's not that hard to do if you know what you're doing. Okay. Step number 3. I'm going to take a quick drink of water here. Step number 3 is to make that offer. I said this is one of the biggest mistakes that people make, and it really is. And so I am encouraging you as the third step in this process to put an offer out there. Put it out there. In my membership, we're right now going through this series for the first quarter of 2023, where we're talking about putting that offer out there. And I'm giving them a lot of ideas, scripts to follow, things like that. And it's because it's so important to make the offer. So often we think we're making the offer way more than we actually are. And here's a few ways that you can do this. So first, if you hang around me for any amount of time, you're going to hear me say the word empathy. Empathy, empathy, empathy. It is so important because when you can listen to somebody else and tell you what they know, what they want, how they're feeling, you can listen to what they're saying to other people. You can look at what they're doing through your analytics. Getting into their thought process and understanding their worldview lets you answer that worldview with your sales copy, with your offer, lets you show up to make an offer that they actually want. But it's not just empathy for your audience, it's also empathy for yourself. When you can lean into what you're thinking, how you're feeling about certain projects, certain deliverables, certain business models, when you can really feel into that, well, then you can start to understand if that's a road you want to go down. Not all roads are built the same. We know that. We're van lifers. We're RVers. We love to be on the open road. We know there are some you don't want to go down. There are some that van lifers can go down that I can't go down in my bumper pole because it's just different. So you have to understand, what road am I going down? And is this the right road for me? Empathy for yourself as well as your customer. Then what you want to do is when you're making the offer, you're not selling the outcome. You're not selling the destination. You're selling that journey. We are going to have so much fun building your business inside the Roadpreneur School. Together, we're going to link arms and we're going to work hand in hand to get your business off the ground. And you're going to have a wave of support this entire time. That sounds so much different than I'm going to show you how to build a business. And when you graduate, you will have a business that makes you money. That's great and all, but what's more fun is you get to work with a lot of people. You don't have all these question marks. You get that support and it's fun. It's fun to build a business. Sell the journey, not the destination. And then finally, remove the friction. There is friction all over the place. There's friction in the checkout. There's friction in your on your sales page. There's something that causes somebody to hit pause and take a step back and say, oh, well, let me think about that. And as soon as they have to take that step back and think about it, now there's friction. And that friction is not going to create the campfire we want it to create. It's going to cause them to go the other direction and look for something that's easier. We are humans who love the path of least resistance. The more we can take away that resistance from our audience, the better off we will be. So here's a great example. You can support other people with a membership from the road. Memberships are excellent because there's actually not as much friction in them because you set up how you're going to deliver your deliverable every single month. You're going to set up how you're going to do your communities to let people engage with each other if they want to engage with each other. You're going to define the call schedule, and then you're set. It's pretty predictable. There's not as much friction, and you're starting to make some good money. So here we go. Let's run the numbers again. This obviously is missing a zero at the beginning. 47 times 100, not 10, is 4,700. Now we're getting pretty darn close to $5,000 months from a membership. $97 times 50 people. Now you're at $4,850. $197 times 25 people. Now you're at almost $5,000. There's a lot you can do with a membership, a lot. And it lets you support other people on your schedule. It's really, really cool. I have one and I love it. Okay, step number 4 is to network. Networking is probably the best way to grow very, very quickly. And there's different ways you can do this. First, you can form connections online. So, for example, if you're on Instagram and you see someone who has a podcast and you've loved one of their episodes, go send them a note. Say, hey, I loved this episode. This is what I took away from it. Thanks for putting out great content. Or if there is a group on Facebook or on Heartbeat or on Slack that you can join, go and join it. Go be part of it and go join in these conversations and help people out. You're going to establish yourself as the go-to person in your niche when you can network online in these different spaces. The second one here in networking is to form those campsite connections without strings attached. One of my favorite experiences while camping was I hung around a campfire with our neighbors. They came over, they brought a bottle of wine, and we hung out for a little bit until it was bed. I think she asked me one time what I did, and I told her I had a couple businesses, and I owned Cruising and Campfires, and I owned Roadpreneur. I got back home, and they got back home 2 days after us. I remember this very clearly because they were leaving. We left right before a snowstorm hit, and then they were staying for it. And I got a notification on my phone, and she bought something from my store. It was lovely. It was no strings attached. I did not make some kind of hard pitch at the campfire. It was just like, here's what I do. But she knew who I was. She wanted to support my business. She was excited. We obviously shared the same interest. It was a no-brainer for her, but there was no strings attached. And so having those kinds of campfire conversations, business can be casual. I actually like business more casual. It feels better. So let your hair down. Don't feel like you have to always be on or always buttoned up or selling. That's so exhausting. You don't have to do that. You can sell by just being yourself and getting to know other people, which is what we do when we're van lifing anyways and we're camping. Finally, ask for connections. People know other people, but they often don't know how to refer you. So if you are making an ask, make it very specific. So say, for example, if somebody is telling you that they need help getting away from their laptop so that they can go and explore more, please send them my way. I have something that can help them. I have a course and I've got a membership that can really help them. If you ever hear that come up in conversation, I'd so appreciate if you send them my way. Now they know what to look for. Now they know what they're listening for in a conversation. And so when it comes up, like they're around another campfire, 2 campsites away from you, and someone's like, oh, I hate that I can't put my phone away. I just feel like I always have to be on. That's when they can say, oh, I just met this girl. She can help you. She's got a course or she's got a membership. Here's her Instagram. Here's her website. Go check her out and see if it's for you. Asking for those connections very clearly makes it so much easier for other people to refer you. And word of mouth marketing is the cheapest form of marketing. All right, let's keep going. So you can productize your skill set. A lot of times people don't think you can sell products from a van, but you absolutely can. There's so many different models that you can do this. So I have a few here. You can sell $27 products, something that you make. You can drop ship. You can do print on demand. All of those are able to be done without having to hold a ton of inventory or shipping equipment or all of that. Or you can sell a $47 product. You can sell a $97 product. You can have a subscription box that renews every month or every quarter. And that is a really great way to get in front of other people, and you ship it and you're done and you have your shipment date and you can just get it out the door. Okay. Finally, you're going to build the customer journey. So remember, I said in November 2021, I had 4 different revenue streams. I now have more than that. I've built the customer journey because every time I build one thing, I'm asking, what else can I deliver? What else can I give them? What else do they need? What are they asking for? And you can continue to stack that customer journey and scale it. And when you do that, you're already starting from that very first beginning. You have your beta testers, those people who are saying yes and betting on you in the beginning. They're now going to be buying from you whatever else you put out there as long as it's quality. The same thing is true here. Anytime you get in customers, they're going to continue to buy from you. Once someone's used to paying you one time, they're going to be more likely to pay you again. Being able to scale lets you add more revenue streams with more ease because now you're just simply saying, oh, hey, I added this. If you want it, here it is. You don't have to do this heavy, hard-handed marketing. And you're continually building your audience with that whole process. This is a whole course in and of itself, but you get the idea of you can continuously stack and scale your offers to really get it out there. Okay. So at this point, you can really choose your own adventure. You can continuously add in models. You can have a membership paired with a course, paired with a product. That's my goal for this year, to be totally transparent. You can mix and match and build your business this way in a way that's very choose your own adventure style. So if you want to rest easier at the campsite and have time to explore without worry or cash flow or client demands, it really does not happen by chance. You need to follow this process. Each of my students that I've coached through this and I have taught through this, they've taken the leap into a more freedom-filled life because they've implemented my specific step-by-step system. So remember, the 3 mistakes you're avoiding here: you are going to make an offer, you're going to stop looking sideways, and you're going to keep moving in a way that feels good. Don't sprint and then stop and burn out. My step-by-step process is really not just theory. I've used this to build so many businesses before. I've sold businesses. I've helped other people build and sell businesses. I've helped other people just build businesses that they love. It's been done time and time again. So I know that this works. I'm not guessing. I've done it and I've helped other people do it too. So if you take away one thing from this whole presentation, it's this. I want you to know that you really, really can enjoy camping now before you retire. And you can earn a good living while doing something you love without the burnout, the grind, the exhaustive hustle. You absolutely can. If I can, then you can. Like I said, I've developed this simple but powerful 5-step roadmap that makes it easy to soak up the benefits of the van lifestyle. And I've outlined that system for you today already. But here's the big question. How can you apply this roadmap to your own business and tap into that beauty of the van lifestyle? So, of course, how can you be Genevieve instead of Dan? We're going back to this one. Okay, so just a quick pitch. The doors are open to my Roadpreneur School. This is where I take these 5 steps, blow them out into different modules, teach you in depth, do a year of live coaching through it all so you get a place to ask questions, answer questions. We're on Zoom. We're doing screen shares. I help you write all of your copy. It's a lot of hands-on support. It's really awesome. And so here's just a really quick backstage pass into what you're going to learn inside this school. We go through how to figure out what the heck you're going to sell from the road and then how to sell it with empathy. Here's a student of mine who did it. And then we do mapping the journey. Customer journey mapping is huge. And this is where you're going to scale with ease. I teach you all of it, how to run the numbers, how to find more opportunities. Here's Shelly, who's also been doing it. She's awesome, awesome. Here's mapping the message. This is where I teach you all my copywriting, all of it. I just give it all to you. And then here's Rosalind, who actually hired me to be a copywriter and then became one of my students when I no longer was offering copywriting services. So she's now doing it herself, and I'm doing some side stuff for her on the side, of course, but it's not like we were before. So she's actually saved a ton of money. Marketing your business. So I'm going to teach you how to market it, how to get it out there, how to shout about it from the rooftops, how to build your content foundation, how to launch. I've done multiple 7-figure launches. I know how to launch businesses for people. I'll help you through it. And how to continue attracting that crowd so you can continuously build, rinse and repeat building. Here's Sarah, who also has done the same thing. I'm going really quickly through these, but you can have these slides if you'd like. Automations and outreach. This is where things get really good for the roadpreneur, the van lifer, because this is where you can automate your outreach. You can be very human. Give your customer who wants that instant gratification, give them that instant gratification. I teach you all of that. Here's Julie, who also went through Roadpreneur School, and she says it gets her, so that's awesome. And then, of course, I'm going to teach you how to simplify your social media. That is probably the biggest time suck. And I'm going to give you a really good system for it. Plus, when you join, oh, here's Beth. She made her money back for this course within like less than a month. So here's what you get. You get 6 modules. It's actually growing. There's more coming. Lots of systems, workbooks, templates, tech support, confidential group to get you over those hurdles. You get it all. Plus, you're going to get monthly calls and mentorship where you can ask questions live on Zoom of me. We sit together, we hang together, we talk together. Sometimes we even cry together. That's how it goes. You also get all the future updates that are coming. You get 12 months inside my Roadpreneur community, which is my membership, where I give you a monthly marketing playbook every single month. That price is actually going up very soon. And you're also going to get instant access to my workshop, How to Systematize Your Year, which you can come into. Doesn't have to only be in January. You can come into anytime. I do this every single quarter. So for Project Van Life Summit members, attendees, you're getting it for $997 flat or 12 monthly payments for $97, which is cheaper than I offer it on my website. So you're actually saving $500. So this is your time. Are you ready to finally earn while you explore and skyrocket your growth over the next 12 months? I'm here to help you. I really, truly am. And I will work with you arm in arm and get you over any humps and really get you out the door doing some really cool things. So again, this is your Project Van Life discount. You can sign up at, there's another here, roadpreneur.com/school-PVL. That's where you're going to get the discounted link. So again, join Roadpreneur School now and save $500, roadpreneur.com/school-PVL. If you have any questions about this, come and DM me over on Instagram. I'm at Roadpreneur. Find me on Facebook. I'd love to connect. I'm here to answer anything, and it's just been so great to be with you. I want to cheerlead you on your journey so much. Come share your biggest takeaway with me. Come say hello. Let's network online, right? Step number 4. I can't wait to meet you. Have a great day.